Have you ever wondered why we have heard about a force called gravity our entire lives, and yet nobody has ever been able to prove that it exists, even though untold numbers of experiments have been performed seeking its cause? Academics have proposed many strange solutions to their mythical gravity by inventing many theories about gravitational attraction: inward pulling gravity, gravitons, gravity waves, 4D warped space and time, to name just a few. It is even claimed that gravity has a velocity, though nobody can explain what is traveling to create this invented force. Scientists do not even know how their mythical force operates, whether it is graviton particles, gravity waves, a strange, unexplainable force which acts at a distance through empty space, or a four-dimensional warped space and time delusion. We have all heard about this inward pulling force called gravity from the academic scientists, and its warped cousin conjured up by Einstein, yet no one has ever discovered the power source for its never-ending pulling force, or its ability to warp space and time perpetually throughout eternity. This theory violates the conservation of energy law, so it cannot be validated using the very foundational formulas, laws, or equations cherished by academics themselves, and requires a kind of religious faith in its existence, since it cannot be seen, proved, nor validated. Have you ever heard that astronomers believe that gravity knows, as if it has consciousness, just how much force to dole out to the various heavenly bodies according to how much mass they have? Newton added the product of two masses to Kepler's third equation without justification, which has created all of this confusion, since mass is not the cause of the effects attributed to the myth called gravity. For example, academics believe that the Sun pulls on Jupiter 300 times harder than the Earth, because these astronomers believe that Jupiter has 300 times more mass than Earth. Academic astronomers claim that the Sun pulls on all heavenly bodies in our solar system with a different amount of force according to how much mass they have. How this could happen is never explained, nor is it remotely tenable. Anyone with common sense can see this is absurd, and would reject this proposition if they knew what these so-called astronomers actually believe and have faith in as their science of gravity. The uncritical acceptance of this absurd theory is what this book exposes. Patti Spolter proved in her work that the product of two masses which Newton added to Kepler's third equation is fallacious, and that Kepler's third equation, area times acceleration, is the math that accurately describes the motions of heavenly bodies. This means that Newton's so-called universal law of gravitation, based on the product of two masses, is in fact false. Newton's formula for universal gravitation gives sums which are off by many orders of magnitude when comparing the various motions of the heavenly bodies within our solar system, unlike the uniform results created using Kepler's third equation of area times acceleration. It is claimed by academia that gravity is responsible for the formation of the Big Bang universe, which, as anyone with discernment knows, is an impossibility as well, and that without gravity, the universe would be without thermal energy and composed only of equally spaced particles. The answer has been staring academics in the face for several generations now. Electric laws were unknown to Newton in his time. However, now we know with great accuracy the effects of electricity as obeying the inverse square law. The fact is that so-called magnetism, which in reality is electricism, light, sound, and radiation are all electric motions. All motion in the universe is electric. This is why the myth called gravity conforms to the inverse square law, since it is electric force which creates the effects falsely attributed to the fictitious force called gravity. Electric force in all forms, scales, and pressures, from the elements to the galaxies, obey this foundational inverse square law. In the course of this book, gravity is a myth and does not exist. Electricity is the only force in the universe. It will be shown that the force called gravity, which was created by Newton and later modified by Einstein and others, does not exist and is purely mythical in its creation. The consequences of this conclusion are immense. It means that a huge list of non-existent entities have been invented by academic scientists based on the mathematics of the non-existent force of gravity. For example, here are a few of the many academic science myths created from their foundational myth called gravity. Dark matter, dark energy, black holes, singularities, event horizons, WIMPs, MOND, machos, neutron stars, gravitational collapse, gravitons, gravity waves, quantum gravity, inward pulling gravity, gravitational lensing, the gravitational constant, the Schwarzschild radius, gravitational radiation, frame dragging, general relativity, anti-gravity, virtual gravitons, and quantum field theory, which are in fact false as well. With the fall of academic gravity theory, all of these other fallacious theories fall with it. No experiments are required to prove my assertions, since we have volumes of data from experiments already cataloged, which only need to be converted to the understanding that the electric force is the cause of everything in our electric universe, and not a mythical and magical gravitational force that acts at a distance, or warps space and time to control all heavenly bodies in our infinite, electric universe.